Hi, this is Ben Ivey, the fulfillment artist, and in this video I'm going to teach you why 97% of people fail their New Year's resolutions. I'm excited to speak about this video because there are people every single year that they get to the New Year's and say, I am going to set a New Year's resolution. But almost every single person fails. So why is this? So I was looking into all this different stuff online, and I came up with 8 points. Okay, so if you understand these, then hopefully when you set your goals and you set all your targets for next year, whether it's a New Year's resolution or just your goal, you'll actually achieve it instead of most people that set a goal, then get frustrated that they don't achieve it and then decide I'm not going to set any other goals and then just accept an average life. Because clearly if you're watching this video, you're not an average person, so you're going to enjoy these points, make sure that you understand them, understand how to avoid them or implement them, and then start to move your life forward. So without further ado, let's move on to point number 1. The first thing that they do is they set goals that are unsustainable. So let me give you an example. Let's say it gets to the new year and you're going to say, okay, I'm too fat. I'm going to go running every single day. Okay, and it's unsustainable. What happens is you just can't run every single day. You've got to have a day off. And then what happens is they have one day off and then you feel, oh wow, I did well for 2 weeks. And it's funny, like people do so well for like the first 2 weeks and then suddenly there's one slip and everything goes. And it brings me back to the quote of, successful people aren't the people that stay on track all the time, because no one does. But they are the people that get back on track the fastest. And it's important when you set your New Year's goals or your New Year's resolutions that you understand that you're never going to be on track 100%. It's not possible, right? You could force yourself to be, but I don't think it'd be enjoyable. It's about getting back on track and putting in those routines. That's the first point. The second thing that people do is they don't have a big why. So what does this mean? Well, they set something, but they don't really know the reasons why they're doing it, right? So let's say a New Year's resolution is you want to, build your income up to, let's say you're a business owner and you want to bring in a million, okay? So you want to bring in like $1 million in profits for your business, and that's your goal, right? But if you don't know why you're doing that, it's just an aim, and there's no juice to follow through, right? If you understand, okay, I want $1 million because I want to give 100,000 to charity, like that is an understanding the why. But most people don't have that why. If we take another example of, I want to be a vegetarian. Now, why? Well, because I just want to try it, right? And that's what people say, I just want to try it for a bit. So they try it for like 2 weeks and then they go back. So once again, if you are setting these goals and these New Year's resolutions, you have to understand the why, right? Write down all the reasons why this is so important to you and why it's a must. And that'll help give you that juice and that emotional sort of threshold to then be able to power through. Number 3, they do it alone. If you want to fail, just do it by yourself. Don't tell anyone what you're doing, and that will almost guarantee your failure. Right? So instead, what you want to be doing is focusing on, okay, I need to share this with people, right? Get an accountability buddy. Do it with someone, right? One of the best things, let's say you're going to the gym, is to get a gym partner who goes with you, right? It's fantastic. And that's why people have masterminds, or they have these accountability groups, because as soon as we share our goal with other people, as soon as we start sharing it and then being accountable, it forces us to stick to it, which is brilliant. And they've done all sorts of studies. Like I'm not going to name like all of them now, but the whole point is you've got to share what you're doing with other people to make you accountable, whether it's on WeChat or Facebook or whatever it is, or maybe it's just one person. You've got to share it with other people. Don't do it alone. Next is no plan. And the reason this makes me laugh is because I have so done this before. I went, okay, do you know what? I'm just going to go vegan for a month. I'm just going to do it. And I had no plan. And it just went horrendously wrong. Like, I had no idea what to eat. So I just starved myself for 2 days because I was like, I don't know what that is. That's not vegan. I don't have time to go to the shops. So apart from starving myself for 2 days, and then I had to go back. Or another one I did years ago was, I was at university and was, okay, we're going to go on a detox. So we went on a detox, and the plan was we're just going to have fruit. Then we bought some fruit, and once again we ran out. Like the whole point is you've got to be able to plan, right? And planning is so important, because if you don't plan, right, what's the word? If you fail to plan, then prepare to fail, or fail to prepare to fail, something like that. But either way, you've got to plan. It's very, very, very important. So with your goal or your New Year's resolution, just think about, okay, how can I plan this out and put everything in place to make it as easy as possible to follow through and make your environment support you whilst you're on your sort of New Year's resolution journey. Next is they don't have self-belief, right? For a lot of people that set New Year's resolutions, they don't believe they'll do it. So they say it, but it's half-hearted. It's not fully committed, right? They're not burning the bridges, right? Or burning the boats. That burning the boats comes from an analogy of, I can't remember the exact war, but basically these people were outnumbered like 5-1, and the general said, okay, we're going to burn all our ships. And they're like, why is that? Because there's no retreat. So we're either going to all die here or we're going to win. And then they end up winning because they realized that there was no retreat. So similar to yourself, like you've got to have that sort of self-belief and say, you know what, no, this is it. This is what I'm doing. And then get the right resources and the right people around you to help move you forward. Right? If you think about motivation, motivation is like a shower. You should take it daily. So to keep yourself motivated to be able to move forward. Next is they don't enjoy the process. If you're one of these people that are going to fail, don't enjoy the process, right? So what does this mean? Well, it's horrible for people to do. Like, let's say they want to, I don't know, learn a new language, but they don't. The end goal, they'd like to be able to speak a language, but the process of learning it, they don't want to do. So what happens is, if they don't enjoy the process, then they're never going to get to the end goal. It's like wanting to run a marathon, but not liking jogging or running. It's difficult to do. So you want to make sure that however you do the process, that you find an enjoyable way to do it. Whether you gamify it, whether you do it with friends, whether you give yourself a reward system, some sort of way so that you can enjoy the process. The next thing is that people don't track their progress. So they don't really know if they're moving forward or if they're not, or if they're staying still. Right? If you're going to set these goals and set these New Year's resolutions, have some way to measure your progress. It's of fundamental importance that you understand that you're progressing. Because if you feel you're progressing, it's going to help you follow through. The worst thing you can do for someone is for them to work really hard for a month and see no progress in any area that they see. Right? So you want to see, okay, how can I acknowledge these small successes, this small progress towards, right, the goal or New Year's resolution? You have to be able to measure it somehow. So think about, how can I measure this goal or these New Year's resolutions that I'm going to do? And the last thing is that they sprint the marathon. So what do I mean by this? Well, they go out the blocks charging, okay? And this is what most people do when they set a New Year's resolution. They prepare themselves, January the 1st, they hit it hard, they go, they're all out. And then what happens is they just burn out, no matter what it is. And it's so funny to... And I don't mean that in a mean way, but it is interesting to watch people who say, okay, I'm going to do this, and they do it, and they do it, and they do it for 2 weeks, and then everything else goes downhill, right? So instead, just, baby steps and put the right systems in place to be able to really, really move forward. So I hope you've enjoyed this video so far. I mean, something that I've done when I've looked into all these New Year's resolutions is SMART goals and all these different types of goals. And this is ultimately what made me create the Ultimate Life Management System, because I wanted a way for people to be able to make progress in all the areas of their life in a sustainable way that's enjoyable, fun, but they make loads of progress instead of progress in all these different sort of directions. So I've got a cool promotion coming up, which is for 5 people. So the first 5 to get in contact with me and the team are going to get access to the Ultimate Life Management System before we launch for a discount for I think a slightly more discounted rate than the launch price. So if you're interested, just drop me a message, and the first 5 are going to have access to that. So with that, thank you very much for watching, and I hope I get to speak to you very soon.